Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Ari Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
We're here at the end of Midas Years, Perek Beis. Chen hi atzas yetzer hara mamish al bnei adam. What we just finished talking about was the yetzer paro to push heavy work onto Klal Yisrael that they didn't have time to think. Says the Mesilas Yesharim, it's the same advice that the yetzer hara has for people. Ki ish milchama hi umalumad bar mimus. He's a warrior. He knows he's an expert in being a crafty, sly adversary. It's impossible to escape from him unless you also have tremendous chachma and a vision, a real vision of what life's about, what you're doing. This is the yetzer that the Navi screams about. The Chagai, put your heart onto your ways, meaning think about what you're doing. Shlomo Amar b'chachma soy, Pasuk in Mishlei says, Shlomo Melech tells us, Al titein shena le'einecha tunuma la'afafecha. Hinatzel ketzvi miyad. A person should not sleep. He should not slumber. He should pay attention. He should save himself like a deer that's running away from its predator. The Chachamim Zal Amru Kol Hasam Me'archosa Bo'olam Hazeh Zoiche Yishuoso Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Somebody who puts his samlev, he pays attention to his ways in this world. Roya B'Yishuoso Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In the end, we'll see the Yeshua of Hashem. All these are the same idea, and that is a person has to take the time out to think about what he's doing. Sometimes we get stuck. We're in the middle of something. It was a surprise. I didn't know that this was going to happen. And because I was surprised, like you're walking on the street and boom, right in front of you is something that you didn't expect to see there. Now, sometimes that happens, or sometimes I go down the same street, the same billboard is there, right? That billboard hasn't changed in the last 6 months. So to tell me that it's a surprise is not true. But sometimes there are surprises. And we don't have, at that split second, we don't have the instincts to automatically turn away or to know how to deal with it in the most proper way. So what am I supposed to do? Isn't that an onus? It's an onus because at that moment you didn't have the preparation to deal with it. But what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to take quiet times that are not when you're in that situation, and you're supposed to take that time in order to strengthen your resolve. Look at my vision. What am I supposed to do? In order to build up an instinct into you, you have to do those motions. Go through the motions of doing it, even at a time, or maybe even especially at a time when it isn't right in front of me. The more you build that up into yourself, the more you think about it beforehand, the more it will become the instinct when you need it. That's what a person needs to do. Says the Mesilas Yesharim, a person needs to take the time out, stop and think about what you're doing. The more often you do this, the more successful you're going to be in life. Like we said, just in a business, if a person wants to be successful in his business, he needs to be on top of the business. He needs to see that the business and all of his aspects are running smoothly. Yeah. It's not just that we're producing a good product. It's that the business itself runs properly. You can have a guy who's brilliant, and he has all these ideas for new apps and new high-tech things, and he can come up with things that can make millions. But if he doesn't know how to run his business, he's going to lose all of his money. Yeah. He's going to lose all of his money because every step of the business needs to be watched. Every step needs to be planned, and it needs to be constantly gone over in order to make sure things are running well. And that's not at a time when happens to be a crisis or some kind of problem that comes up. You got to deal with this stuff before the things happen. Let's think about what are we going to do? We have a crisis management is already in place before we have a crisis. Because if we're only putting it in place once the difficulty happens, we're not going to do so well. It's the same thing with our own lives. The more a person spends the time to think about what am I doing, where am I headed, Am I doing the things that I need to do in order to head in the right direction? The more that a person thinks about these things, the more successful they'll be. And that's the only way to fight the yetzer hara, because the yetzer hara is tenacious. He's out there to get us. And he's got those plans. We have to have the plans in order to fight him. The only way to do it is to actually get up and do it. We have to take the time, quiet times, think about what we're doing in our lives and how can we set things straight. As Hashem, we're going to finish this parak, I hope, the next year. And in the next year, we're going to bring this down. As the prakim develop, we're going to bring it much more lamaisa of how to actually do this. Okay, shkoyach.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.